So let's start with the new chapter of today, that is from political science. It is lesson number 2, federalism. Now basically what do you mean by the federalism? It is a system. So whenever you write in the examination, so please use the word system. It is a system of power sharing. Now power is shared between whom? Means who is there between whom the power will be shared. So power is shared among different levels of government. So sometimes in some countries we can see that there are national government. In some countries there are the state governments. Somewhere we have the local governments also. So it means there are 1, 2 or 3 tiers of government. Tiers means simply we can say that levels of government. So they have the power sharing and they have their own works, and that works and subjects are specified in the constitution. So they work accordingly. So now let's continue with our chapter. So federalism, it is a system of government that it is already introduced to you right now, that it is the first very important thing whenever you write in the examination. It is a system of government. This is the first thing. Then what is the system of government is what we do in that system. In that system the power is divided. Now between whom the power is divided? The power is divided between central government and state government, or simply we can say that constitutional units. So powers of the country or the subjects of the country are divided into these levels of government. Now what are the key features? Means key features of federalism. Now we'll discuss about the federalism deeply, and we'll discuss about its key features. Means how we can say that this country has a federal form of government. So like you have your own features, so in the same way this system has also its own features. Now see, first one, there are levels of government. So maybe there are 2 levels of government or 3 levels of government. So first very important thing is that there are levels of government. Now second one is each tier or level has its own jurisdiction. Okay, so each level means central government, state government or the local government has its own jurisdiction. Now what is jurisdiction? It is the legal power, or it is already taught to you in the previous section of classes that it is actually the court. Okay, so they have the legal powers to go in the court. Now see, this is the third one, that jurisdiction are specified in the constitution. So where this jurisdiction or the legal power is mentioned, so it is mentioned in the constitution. It is already taught to you in the 9th standard that these all courts and these powers are mentioned in the constitution. So simply only one government cannot change it. Now fourth one is fundamental provisions, means whatever fundamental provisions are written in the constitution after our independence in 1947. So these cannot be changed by one government, means central government cannot change the fundamental provisions in the constitution, or state government cannot change it alone. So it needs the approval of both the governments. Now fifth one is courts have power to interpret the constitution and powers of the government. Means who will safeguard the laws, or who will safeguard our rights. So there is always courts are there. So it is taught to you earlier that we have the Supreme Court at the highest level, then we have the high courts in the state, then we have the district courts also, the local courts also. So these courts protect our rights. Now sixth one is sources of revenue are specified, means how to run the economy, how the central government will run its economy, or how the state government will run its economy. So each level has the sources of the revenue. they have like taxes, and they can collect the taxes and revenue, and they run their that all economic activities. Now the last one is, the last key feature is, what is the dual objective, means its objectives are two. So what are the dual objectives of federalism? So these objectives are federalism. So first is promote the unity. You know that India is a land of diversity and we have different caste and religion. So first important thing is to promote the unity among all the citizens, and second one is accommodate the regional diversity. We have the regional diversity also. As you know that we have many states and union territories also. So it promotes the regional diversity. Okay, it accommodates the regional diversity. Means diversity is also given its space in the Constitution of India. So once again I am recalling the whole lecture that federalism, when it has ISM, it means it is a system. So federalism, so how you will write first in the exam when it is asked, it is a system of government. So don't forget to write it. The system of government, power is divided, and between whom the power is divided, between different levels of government. So basically it is divided between the central government and the state governments. Now we have the 7 key features. So if you want the screenshot, you can take a screenshot also. So now let's start with the second topic of the same chapter. That is, what are the 2 roots of the federalism? Now, federalism is a system, earlier it is already discussed to you that federalism is a system of government where power is shared among different governments, different levels of the government or different tiers of the government. So there are 2 roots of forming the federation. How the country is forming itself, means are there states or there is a country alone. So there are 2 routes. The first one is coming together. Suppose if you are friendly with your friend, we are sometimes friendly with our friend. So what we say is come here, come together. So it is their choice whether they want to come or not. So here it is that independent states are there. States are independent there, and those all states decides together that they want to mix out, they want to come together and make a bigger unit. So they come together and form a bigger unit, or they give the shape of the country themselves. So many states come together if they have a good understanding, or they want to secure their rights and security and dignity and everything. So at that time they all come together. These are the small units. When they come together and they form a large unit. So all states have equal power. So here all state governments, they share the equal power what the union government shares. Means no one is more powerful here. They have the equal sharing of the powers. For example, countries like USA, means it is the United States of America. It is the union. So what is the union? Union means many states are there and they have joined together to make a larger unit. So that's why it is USA, United States of America, and Australia. It means the states by their wish they came together and they make a larger unit. Now the second root is holding together federation. Holding together means we are forcefully holding someone. So for example, if I hold someone's hand, or if you are holding someone's hand, so it is the wish of that person to join or not. So it has a force. Where forcefully we are calling someone. So it is holding together federation. Now what happens here? The large country decides. Country is there. So the country is divided into many states. So a large country decides to divide its power between the state government. Here the central government or the union government decides to share its power among different state governments. Here the central government enjoys more power. Okay, so this you have to remember. This is the difference between both the rules. So here the states are independent, they are coming together and they are forming a larger unit. Here the country is deciding to share its power among different states. So here the central government enjoys more power as compared to the state or the local government, and here all the states are sharing the equal powers. Now which countries have the holding together federations? Countries like India, Belgium. Belgium is already taught to you earlier that it has the community government also, and Spain. So these countries share their power. This central government or the union government share its powers between the other state governments. So this is basically the important one. So most of the time in the examination it is asked to you. So you have to view this topic in the for example in the examination and that what question will be asked in the exam. So simply the question will be asked to you that what are the two roots of the federalism, or simply it is asked to distinguish between or the examples of the countries. Okay, so options will be given there in the MCQ so that you can attempt that. So this is the important one. So if you want to take the screenshot, you can take it. Now see, let's start with the next topic, that is how we can call India as a federal country. Why India is a federal country? As it is discussed earlier that India is divided. So actually India has three types of government or three levels of government. The first one is the union government, second one is the state government, and third one is the local government. So we have three tiers of government. So it is already discussed earlier. In the local government, you can see that local government is divided into two, the panchayats and the municipalities. The panchayat works in the rural areas, whereas the municipalities works in the urban areas. So one is the village government and one is the urban area government. So these are the three levels or three tiers of government which enjoys different powers in India. Now next is the threefold distribution of the legislative powers. Now what are the threefold distribution? It means we are discussing about legislative powers. Okay. So which are the legislative powers, or which are the subjects which are mentioned in the constitution? So here is the threefold distribution. The first one is the union list. Now as the name indicates that the union list, it means who will make the laws on these subjects. Only and only union government or the central government can make the laws on these subjects. Now these are nearly 98. Now why we want central government to make laws on these subjects? Because we want a uniform system, a uniform policy in the country, so that people can enjoy the same rights all together. So for what are the subjects? Some of them are discussed here, like banking, currency, defense, etc. And only union government can make the laws on these subjects. So next one is the state list. Now as the name indicates that who will make the laws on these state list, so only state government can make the laws on this state list. So subjects are police, trade, agriculture, etc. So these are the common people interest subjects. So only state government can make the laws on this. And now the third one is the concurrent list. Now again the question is here that who will make the laws on the concurrent subject, whether the state government will make the law or the union government will make the laws. But do you know that both can make the laws? So here see in the union list only and only union government can make the laws, and in the state list only state government can make the laws. But in the concurrent list both the union government and state government both can make the laws. But when there is a dispute or there is a conflict, then only union government laws will prevail. So at that time, because we know that union government is more powerful in India, as we already discussed earlier that holding together federation, the union government is more powerful as compared to the state government. So when there is a conflict between the Indian government and state government in making the laws, like for education, forest, marriage, etc., or adoption also. So on these subjects, both can make the laws. Okay. Now, what is statutory subjects? It is a little different for you because it is already a new topic for you also. Now, what are the statutory subjects? We got independence in 1947. Then our constitution was enacted. Then in 1950, some of the subjects were not included in the constitution. So, which were the subjects which are not included in the constitution, like computer software was not there. So, at that time only it was written that those subjects which are not in the constitution or they are not mentioned in the constitution, so only union government can make the laws on such subjects. So, again recall all together. The United States means India is a federal country. If question is asked to you in the examination, that in detail explain that why India is a federal country, or how you just explain about the features of the India as a federal country. So this one is the first one. Okay, so this one is the first that we enjoys the different levels of the government, the union, state and local government. So these are the tiers of the government. If they ask you in the examination that what are the threefold distribution legislative powers, so simply with the legislative powers it means that we have the different subjects, and these subjects are divided into the state and the central government. So union list for the union government, state list for the state government, concurrent list, both the union and state government can make the law, but only you have to remember the most important thing, that is if there is a conflict or the issues come up, that only and only union government can make the laws on it, or its laws will prevail. And residual subjects are those subjects which were not mentioned or which were not recorded in the constitution when it was framed. So such type of subjects, or such subjects only union government can make the laws. For example, computer software. So you can take the screenshot of this.